It's Sunday, March 25th, 2018. This is my second attempt at this particular video. It's Sunday Smorgasbord. I had the other one going really good. I was doing really good with it. It was going great. And then I got Charlie Ebersol and Charlie Enberg mixed up, and I don't know why. And I messed up some other stuff. A lot of bad stuff. I'd have gotten destroyed in the comments by somebody. Somebody would have pointed out all the bad stuff. So we're going to start first with the channel's health, and then we're going to get into the XFL versus the AAF. What a terrible name. Terrible initials, AAF. But, we'll get into that. Channel's health, 439 views total on 90 videos. We did 7 videos last week and got 52 views, second most ever. And we have 12 subs. And I have to thank NASCAR Lover 2018 and his extra subscribing for me, because he subscribed with all of his YouTube channels that he has. So it's like, that's pretty cool. It's like he's been a huge help for me. He watches a lot of the videos. He comments on some of them. He hits the like button on some of them. I mean, he's been a kind of a big supporter of mine, which is pretty awesome. So it's like, I appreciate NASCAR Lover 2018. It's like, thank you for helping me out so much. I mean, I appreciate the comments and the like button and watching the vids, man. It's like, I appreciate it, man. So thank you for all your help. I do appreciate it. So hey, once again, go watch his channel if you haven't seen it. Like I said, good guy. He's a big help. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Okay, so now we're going to get into the XFL versus AAF. We're going to get into that right now. XFL doesn't stand for anything. Football League with an X. And AAF stands for the Alliance of American Football. Allegiance of American Football. I don't know. It's still terrible. It's terrible. It's just it's a stupid name. That part goes to the XFL. XFL. I know the X doesn't stand for anything, but a lot of us think it stands for extreme. But AAF, their name is stupid. I hate it. It's a dumb name. Doesn't mean it won't be great football. It's just a stupid name. So the AAF is going to start 1 year ahead of the XFL. They're going to start in 2019, whereas the XFL is on pace to start in 2020. Vince has always kind of said he wants to give himself the extra time he learned from last time when he rushed everything. So he's not going to rush this league. So a lot of people are kind of saying, well, this is not good for the XFL. Yes and no. It's good for the XFL because they can see where the AAF might be making mistakes, and they can capitalize on that by changing some of the things they might have done. If they see something that they're succeeding with, maybe the XFL can do it better. Maybe the XFL has some ideas that the AAF isn't utilizing. Now, I already like a couple of the AAF's ideas. One of them is no long-term contracts. Now, that can hurt the AAF when the XFL starts, because you don't have any long-term contracts, and that means the XFL can snap up your players for more money. So they can see what good players you have and then kind of snap them up if the NFL teams don't. So your best players next year could end up on the XFL because Vince hasn't spent any of that money yet. And so he'll spend it to get the better players and take them away. So it could benefit the XFL to do where they're just kind of sitting and waiting and going, oh, that player's pretty good. It's like, if he doesn't get picked up by an NFL team, I'll pay him a little bit more and bring him over to my side. So it's a yes and no. The AAF could become established before the XFL, but let's face it, we already know what the XFL is. The AAF is going to have a hard time getting its footing because we don't really know what it is. It does have Charlie Ebersol, and it has Bill Polian. Bill Polian, to me, is the big one. The man is a football genius. Have a ton of respect for Bill Polian. So to me, that's the wild card in all this is Bill Polian's already come up with some pretty cool ideas. No kickoffs. You just start with the ball at the 25. So how do you handle onside kicks? There's no extra points. You go for 2 every time. That's also awesome. On extra kicks or extra points, I don't care about extra points. 2-point conversions are more fun. It's another play in the game. It's more fun. A lot of times it's like the extra point is just inconsequential. It's like just make a touchdown worth 7 points then if you're just going to do those. I know they marched it back in the NFL to like to make it a 35-yard kick, and there were a lot more of them missed, but it'd still be more fun to watch another actual play. Now, they said no kickoffs because they don't want to get anybody injured. But here's another problem. Not a lot of people get injured on an extra point. So think about this. Now, every time you score a touchdown, you go for a 2-point conversion. That's technically another play where somebody could get hurt. So, uh, I don't know. I think the AAF might have to look at that as well because you can still get hurt on a 2-point conversion. Whereas, how many times have you ever seen anybody get hurt on an extra point? I mean, it's very rare. The only person I think I've ever seen get hurt on an extra point might be like the placeholder or something, the ball holder. So, also an onside kick, they don't do onside kicks. What you do is, let's say you're down 11 points. So the team goes down, scores a touchdown, they miss the 2-point conversion. They're still down 5. They can elect to take the ball at their 35 with a 4th and 10. And if they make the 4th and 10, they can continue the drive. So I think that's pretty cool. That's going to lead to some awesome stuff, I think. It's going to lead to some neat plays. So I'm pretty excited about some of that stuff. They say they want to make the games move a little bit faster, which is good because even in my video on the ways the XFL can succeed, make the game faster so that the games are over quicker. Now the NFL has a ton of commercials. I'm guessing the AAF not going to have as many commercials because they're not going to have as many advertisers. I think they'll be taken a little bit more seriously because of Bill Polian over Vince McMahon. But I still believe that the XFL can still benefit from this. They really can. They can benefit from watching some of these players, watching another league, and then deciding what maybe they can tweak that the AAF is doing right and wrong. And maybe they can make the necessary adjustments. And not to mention, they'll get to see some of these players first and say, we'll take that guy and that guy and that guy and pay them a little bit more than what the AAF is willing to pay them. So I see at some point that these two things, they can merge. I think that they might look at some point, if both leagues are able to sustain themselves, which it's going to be very tough to do because how are you going to distinguish yourselves from each other? You're both going to have to do things a little bit different to distinguish yourselves. So what is the AAF going to do that the XFL is going to have to change so that they can be a little bit different? Because two alternate football leagues that both play the same kind of football as the NFL, it's going to be tough to distinguish for the fans. The fans are going to have a hard time going, well, who's where and what teams are, especially if you have some of the, because right now the AAF is going to, soon they're going to announce what cities they're in. So what does that mean? What if they take some of the cities that Vince McMahon was hoping to get into? You can't put two minor league football teams in the same city. I don't think there's a city in the United States that can support that. But I'm pretty excited about seeing what these, because these two football, this is also the good thing for the NFL. These two football leagues, they can start tweaking the formulas. And if the fans respond to some of the tweaks and like some of the tweaks, then the NFL might be able to benefit. Now remember, the overhead cam was something that the XFL kind of came up with, because the guy said, my kid plays Madden football and this is the view they look at it from the top down. So what if we put a camera up there and kind of fly over and look at what's happening? Well, the NFL does that now. And the cameras and everybody is a lot more on the field and they're closer to the players than they ever were. This also came from the XFL. Now, the NFL doesn't quite get as intrusive as the XFL was, but there are some things that the XFL did that the NFL adopted. So now there are things that the AAF and the XFL might do that the NFL may adopt later. So all of this it can only help football, because now you'll have two leagues that can kind of experiment and find out what football fans are willing to accept in their game. So I'm excited. I'm excited about 2019 and watching the terribly named AAF play football, And then I'm excited about seeing in 2020 when Vince comes out with his brand of football and seeing what he'll do differently than the AAF to distinguish himself from the AAF. The XFL will do to distinguish themselves from the AAF. So to me, it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be a football fan because I think right now the NFL has gotten so bloated and so over on top of itself. With it's just it takes itself way too seriously. It'll be nice to see a couple of football leagues maybe take themselves less seriously and get back to what football should be, which is fun. So I'm excited about both of these. So tell me what you think. Do you think the AAF is going to succeed over the XFL because they start early? Or do you think the XFL, because they get to sit back and kind of wait and see what the AAF is going to do? Do you think the XFL will learn from what they're doing and make their product better, and that will in turn make their football league more successful? And do you think at some point that the two leagues, if they have moderate success, will merge into one league of maybe 10 to 12 teams? Which I think is probably what would really happen, because I don't think you can do it both. Or maybe one league will buy out the other, or Vince will buy out the AAF. Maybe that's the reason the AAF exists, so they can get some of Vince McMahon's money. Vince, be careful, buddy. They might be looking for you to take... There might be some shenanigans going on there, Vince. Be careful. Be careful. You work in sports entertainment, buddy. You might be getting taken for a ride. This might be like WCW versus WWE all over again. Yeah, Sunday. This will be Sunday afternoon wars instead of the Monday night wars, which was Raw versus, Nitro. Was it Nitro? No, was it? Yeah, it was Nitro. Yeah, I think it was Nitro. Can't remember. I didn't watch WCW. I watched the WWF. Well, whatever. So, what do you think? If you like the video, subscribe, please. And to all the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.